Hi Yarny friends, I'm Sara Sach and welcome back to my crochet channel. This is our last Friday Fun Day video for 2023 that is a Christmas themed Friday Fun Day. So what we have here are some plastic jars, and you can buy these in a set of 3 at your local Michael's. I've also seen them at Hobby Lobby, but you don't have to use this particular type of jar. You can use your regular glass mason jars if you want to. I just happened to see them in a set of 3, so I picked them up. All right, and so what we're going to do today is we're going to make this koozie cover that looks like a Christmas tree, sort of. I'm calling it the Christmas Lights jar cozy or koozie. Now you can use these jars for lots of things. This one I've got hard candies in. This one I've got packaged candies in. This one I've got a straw with the lid. And we poked a hole in the middle with the screwdriver and just made a little spot in there. Put the straw in there and you've got a fun Christmas drink holder. Another thing you can do is you can get some of these little battery operated tea lights. And you can drop that down inside and it becomes a Christmas candle. Super fun. Set them around your house. They're really pretty. So there's lots of things that you can do with these. Okay, so let's turn that off so I don't ruin my battery. This is actually the koozie itself. It also fits, get this, your basic can of soda. So it's really versatile. It's super easy to make. And I think you're just really going to enjoy making these because they're really fun. We make the body of it and then we come back in and slip stitches on top. And then we come back in and just add some little lights. This one I did with some variegated yarn. And the truth is you don't have to do them these colors. These are just the colors that I chose. You can get in your yarn stash and come up with whatever colors that you want to. I wanted it to kind of resemble a Christmas tree with lights on it, but it doesn't have to. You could always add a yellow button star if you wanted it, or an angel, to look more like a Christmas tree. They're super easy to make, super fun. Great for gift giving. You could even put cocoa mix in here, or make one of those where you get the mix and it's just a one-person cake. But if you do that, make sure you use the glass ones if you're going to do it where you bake the cake inside, okay, or the brownie mix. But I'm saying there's lots of uses for jars. Down here in the South, we use our jars for absolutely everything. We drink from them, we store in them, we can with them, of course. You can find the complete pattern on my blog with lots of pictures. And as always, I'll put that blog link down in the notes underneath this video. So we're going to be using the green sparkle. This is, I love this yarn, metallic, from Hobby Lobby. It's just their green, jelly bean green with a sparkle going through it. And then we're going to use a little bit of the silver. This is Red Heart Super Saver with the metallic going through it for the light cord. We have a small amount of red just for around the top of our koozie, just to bring in some red. And then I'm going to do the lights in this white. I want them to pop more. I don't think they pop enough in this one. I mean, I like it. I used a variegated, which was this, for the lights. But because there's some green in there, I don't think it pops like I want it to. You could use any color that you want. You could use a fluorescent color. You could use bright yellow, any colors that you want. And so I'm just going to stick with the white metallic. It is also, I love this yarn from Hobby Lobby, and so is this red. Okay, all medium weight, number 4 yarns. Now, as far as the tea lights, I bought these at the Dollar Tree, and you get 2 of them for $1.25. These are the ones that change colors. They're kind of fun. They go from, like, this is kind of an orangey red, then it goes to green. There we go. Blue, and I think the next one's purple. There you go. So it's a lot of fun. It does change colors, but they also have the ones that are just solid white as well. And it's really fun. Even if they only last one Christmas for $1.25, they're a lot of fun. All right, so we're going to stitch up our cozy or koozie with our 5mm crochet hook. You'll need a needle for weaving in ends and sewing on your lights. And then, of course, you need a pair of scissors. Now, as far as jars go, this is a 16-ounce jar. These are the plastic ones I got at Michael's. You can also find them at Joann's, Hobby Lobby, and I thought that I saw them the other day at a grocery store that were in plastic. But you don't have to use the plastic, like I said. And also, there are a lot of jars you have in your pantry that would probably work that are about the same size. Some of the pickle jars and olive jars and jelly jars would work just fine for making a koozie and turning it into a gift. Especially if you're going to use them as a light where you're not even going to need the lid on there. So check your pantry. You might have a jar that works. All right, let's get started. We've got our green out here, because we're going to do the body of it first, and then we'll come back in and do the lights, all right? So we're going to start with our slip knot. We're going to chain 5. We'll join this chain 5 into a circle. We'll tie that stay knot, and if you would prefer to use the magic circle or another method here, you certainly can. Alrighty. My throat is a little dry this morning, so please just excuse me when I clear my throat a little bit. Alright, we're going to go in, pull up a loop, and chain 3. Alright, so what we're going to do is we're going to make 14 double crochets. Our first one counts as 1. We're making 14 more, so we need 15 double crochets in our circle. Some more yarn out here. Alrighty, now remember that chain 3 counts as your first double crochet, and we're stitching 14 more, so we need a total of 15 double crochets stitched in our circle. And it is going to be a little bit of a tight squeeze, but that's okay. We'll get them all in there. Let's see how many I've made so far, because I was not counting. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, and 15. All right, let me count again just in case. So our chain 3 counts as 1, so there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 double crochets. I'm going to join to my chain 3 with a slip stitch and chain 3. Now before we go on and do row 2, we want to close up this hole in the center. And when I stitched those stitches, I stitched over the tail of yarn. So I just need to pull that nice and snug, grab my needle, and we'll weave this in. It's a lot easier to do this now, because if you wait to the end, you'll have to turn it wrong side out and all of that, which really is no big deal. But it's a lot easier if you just go ahead and do it now. But that's up to you, of course. All right, nice and snug. We'll cut that off. And so for round 1, we have 15 double crochets. We joined to our chain 3 and chained 3. Let's do round 2. Now for round 2, our chain 3 counts as our first double crochet, and we're going to double crochet in the same stitch as that chain 3. And now what we're going to do is we're going to place 2 double crochets in each of those double crochets around. And this is going to give us a nice flat bottom to our jar cozy. That way it doesn't sit or funny or roll around. It'll be nice and flat on the bottom. Alright, so we're stitching 2 double crochets in each of those 15 double crochets, working all the way around. Then we'll join back to our chain 3. I stitched a double crochet in the same stitch as my chain 3, and then we stitched 2 double crochets in each of the double crochets around, so we have 30 double crochets. We're going to join to that chain 3 with a slip stitch and only chain 1. This next row, we're only going to place 1 stitch in each of those 30, and we're going to stitch a single crochet. So just 1 single crochet in each of those 30 stitches, working all the way around. So we're not increasing anymore. One single crochet in each of those 30 double crochets, and then we'll join back to our first single crochet. I stitched 1 single crochet in each of my double crochets around, so I have 30 single crochets. And you'll notice that it's going to start curling because we're not increasing anymore. And we want it to do that. That's exactly what we want it to do. So we're going to join to that first single crochet with a slip stitch and chain 3. Now what we're going to do is you want to make sure we curl it up this way because this is the outside. And we're going to place 1 double crochet in each of those single crochets around. There aren't any fancy stitches or techniques on this because we want the star of this koozie to be when we put those lights on there and how fancy that makes that look. All right, and so we're just stitching 1 double crochet in each of the stitches, working all the way around. And again, you're going to notice that it's going to start curling up because we're starting to work the sides of our koozie or cozy. We always call them cozies, but I noticed online they call them koozies. I don't care what you call them. I just think they're fun. I stitched 1 double crochet in each of those stitches around. So again, I have 30 stitches or 30 double crochets. We're going to join to our chain 3 with a slip stitch and chain 3. All right, so now what you're going to do is we're going to repeat row 4 for 5 more rows. Just 1 double crochet in each stitch, join to the chain 3 and chain 3 for 5 more rows. So I have repeated that for 5 more rows. That brings me up to row 9. When we get to row 9, when we join, we're just going to chain 1 because we're going to do a row of single crochets. So we'll just stitch 1 single crochet in each of those double crochets around. And this just kind of brings the top in just a little bit, just so it sits pretty when it's sitting on the jar. All right, so for row 10, we're stitching 1 single crochet in each of the double crochets, working all the way around. I stitched a single crochet in each of those double crochets around. I'm going to join to my first single crochet with a slip stitch, and I'm going to cut my yarn. Now, I'm going to bring in my red because I'm just putting a trim on the top in a different color. You could always do silver or blue or green, whatever color that you want for this row. I just like that little pop of red in there since it's Christmas. All right, and so then we'll chain 1, and again, just stitch 1 single crochet in each of the stitches, working all the way around the top of our cozy or koozie. I just really like the red pop in there since it's Christmas. But of course you can do yellow or blue or, like I said, whatever color you want to do and whatever. Because really, there are lots of beautiful artificial Christmas trees out there that are all different colors. White would be nice too. Represent some snow. All right, so I'm just going to stitch a row of single crochet all the way around the top, of our cozy. So I completed that last row. We're going to join to our single crochet with a slip stitch and cut our yarn. So now we have just a little bit of weaving in to do. I'm going to pull that loop to the back so it's nice and neat. There we go. And then I'll grab my needle and weave in these ends. I don't have to do the beginning one because we already did that. We just need to do these three here where we changed colors. And the next thing we're going to do is, of course, add those super cute Christmas lights. So I've got my cozy or koozie all tidied up. And I'm going to come over here. Here's where I tidied up. So I'm going to come down here on the back. And I'm going to go in the post stitch 1, 2, 3, 4 on the 4th row, and we're going to be stitching across the post of the stitches. Okay, so I'm going to bring this in. I'm going to give myself a little bit of a tail for weaving in. Okay, and what I do is I just hold it like this. I slip stitched. I'm going to chain 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm going to skip over 4 stitches and slip stitch in the next. All right. Tail of yarn out of the way. There we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, we're going to skip those stitches. You can skip 3, you can skip 4. It's totally up to you. Just remember, you don't want to make it so tight that you can't get your jar in there. All right, and so we're just going to go around. Okay, we're going to move around. And what you're going to do, let me grab this other one so you can get an idea of how we did this. All right, here's where we started. We went around, and then when we got over here where we started, we moved up 1, 2 rows. And then we went around, and then when we got back over here, we moved up again. And then when we got back over here, we came up to the top. All right, let me show you again. It kind of went off screen. So you're just spiraling forward. Here's where we started. Then we move up because we want it to spiral up. Okay, so let me get this one going back around. I'll show you how to do that. Whoops. And you do need to work this just a little bit loose because you want to make sure that you still have the stretchiness so that it can get onto your jar. Okay, so I've worked around the first row, going around, and I'm coming back over here towards where I started. Okay, so I don't want to go right back there. What I want to do is that I'm going to go up a row. One, 2, 3, and 4. And then I'm going to move up. Here's this row. I'm going to move up to the next row. There we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right. And then I'm just going to start doing what I was doing and spiraling around. All right, let me take my hook out of there. So here's where we started, and we came around. And now we moved up 2 rows, and now we're going to go around this row. And we'll do that again. When we get over here, we'll go up 2 rows to this row, and we'll spiral all the way around and join up here. I'll show you again on this one. Here's where we started. We spiraled around. Then we moved up a row, spiraling all the way around, moved up a row, and then we came back around here and joined up here. So I spiraled it all around, having some fun with it. It's up to you how many spirals that you do and how randomly you want to do it. It's just super fun. You can have 2 rows, you can have 3, you can have 5. It's just up to you. It's pretty random. All right, so all you have to do now is we're going to tie this off. We need to weave this end in and then this one down here. So we'll just go to the inside and hide our stitches. And be careful not to show the silver through. Stay on the back side of those stitches and make it pretty. So the last thing we need to do is add some lights. I'm just using white. You can use any color that you want to. All right, and so we're going to come to the very first one, and we're just going to make 2 slanted lines. I'm going to leave this out so I can weave that in later. There we go. And then I'm going to go under and I'm going to follow that line to where we made the next slip stitch. I almost said single crochet. Okay. So that's the first light there. All right. We want them to hang down at different angles the way lights on a Christmas tree do. So we'll stick some of them down. All right, so I'm going to go in. I'm going to follow this to the next spot where I have a light, where we have our slip stitch. This time I'm going to make it stick up. So I'm going to come up here and make those 2 stitches. And that's going to just make it look like I've got white lights all over my Christmas tree. And then we'll go in. Don't go in the same spot or your stitch will come out. Just follow the line. And everywhere where you've put a slip stitch is where you're going to put your lights. And your lights are made with 2 straight stitches. Or 3 if you want them to look a little thicker. I just did 2. And then we'll just follow this on the inside. See how that looks? Looks like I've got lights. This one I'm going to come up and make it come up to the top. This gives it a little bit of a random look to it. And so the way I do it is I just do 2 straight lines. And then I go back in, kind of in the center where I made those, follow it around until you reach that next slip stitch. And like this one's up, this one's down, so I'll make this one up. I'm going to make it face another direction. So I'm going to have it kind of go this way. And then I go in. Follow the line the way that I made the light, trying to find the next spot. There it is right there. And I'll make this one face down since the one previous faced up. And so now that looks like I've got white lights along a strand of lights. All right, so I'm just going to continue to do this all along, making my lights at each of the places where I made a slip stitch. If you want to add more, like you want to put them in between, you can. It's totally up to you how you want to do that. Like this, you could just do more lights. You want it to be more fancy, have more lights, you can. Sometimes I'll do it if I feel like it's not filling in close enough and I want to have a little bit more lights there. Like I said, it's kind of random. Let your creative juices flow and do it however you want. All right. So I'm going to continue making my lights all the way along my strand until I get back up here. So I put all the white lights on it, and I have to say I like it, but this one has a little bit more cheeriness to it because it does have green and red and white lights because I used a variegated. I think it'd be really pretty if we used like a fluorescent yarn and it would be variegated and you can really see those lights pop out as well. But I do like this one also. Okay, so I've got my jar here and we'll just slide that in. Be sure and weave all those ends in also. But it looks really cute on the jar, doesn't it? I just love these. Super cute. And like I said, you can always put a star or something on it if you want it to look more like a Christmas tree. I just wanted them to be fun and festive. So now I have 2 different jars I can decorate with. I can put lights in them if I want to with these really inexpensive tea lights. I can add goodies, candy, whatever I want to. And I have a whole box of 16-ounce glass mason jars, and I could make a bunch of these and set them on my porch with the tea lights in them if I wanted to. Some nice cold drinks. You can use them for goodies and candy, whatever you want to use them for. This is our Christmas lights cozy.